Okay. And I stalled it right from the get-go. That's a great start. Okay. And we are off to go pick up our trailer. I think I have a 460 horsepower Volvo. Now, I bought this truck back before the Scania was released. So if I had it to buy today, I might. Oh, you know what? I might have a 14 speed after all. I'm gonna throw it on the 14 speed and just make sure, because I think there is a 14 speed. With how slowly it was starting out in first, I think I've got to have a 14 speed, which is probably why it was set to 14 speed. Not Scania 14, Volvo 12 plus 2. Now, as I was saying, I actually bought this back before the Scania expansion. No. What's going on? Okay, there's that. One high. Okay, that's gotta be... Why is it not picking those up? Okay, I see what's going on. Okay. Now the first time I've made this mistake. Options, controls. First off, it needs to be set to shifter toggle. Okay. So I think... Is it really? Okay. I think that's backwards. I totally have my clutch down, by the way. Okay, let's see if that's right now. Okay, so that's correct on those. 6. Okay, we have it now. Okay. So, on that note, pulled forward a little too far and now everybody's freaking out. Oh, come on. Okay. So I have not driven this truck in a while. I do have a Volvo. I've got a personal game that I play on when I'm not streaming, and I also have a Volvo on there. But I do have a mod that I've got some different mods going than I do on there, so things are a little bit different. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I'm totally starting in like 6th gear. That's why I started so slowly and why I actually am going so amazingly fast with only a couple of shifts. Okay. I don't actually need to merge over because I'm about there. I've been driving. Most recently, I was driving a 16-speed ZF transmission, so that's the most recent. Hopefully, it doesn't mess up my shifts here. I drive with Volvo shift layout most often, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal, since that's what I'm used to, or most used to. But we'll see how it turns out. I mean, I already started out in high gear, so. Okay. This is not my exit. How far do I have? 30 miles, huh? Or 30 kilometers of unpaid driving. That shouldn't be enough to break me. Now, I am using the real economy mod, am I not? Maybe I'm not. I thought I was using the real economy mod. Let's look real quick, because we can tell really easily. I'm not playing on the real economy mod. My money's all off. Give me just a second because I think. Okay, let's take a look here. I'm going to transition over there, and I actually want to look at the. Let's see. I am supposed to be playing on the real economy mod. I was on my previous games. I just forgot to enable it. Well, that's interesting to know. That's really interesting to know because that means that it's only that it's the way it's actually doing it is very different than I thought it was. So that's not. I thought it was going to be like a permanent change, but apparently it's changing it just in game. Okay, when I get there. Oh crap. Where's my GPS set? Okay, that's okay. When I get there, I'm gonna reload the mod, but with ProMods, it's gonna take a while to reload. Okay. I'm gonna do it anyway because I don't want to be cheating. I don't want to be cheating my real economy mod because I shouldn't have $173,000. I should have somewhere in the order of maybe a couple $1,000s. That's how the real economy mod works. So, 14 minutes. Okay. Sadly, I mean, it literally takes like 5 minutes to load. So I usually do it before the stream so that it's not slowing everything down. But I would rather stay true to the real economy mod. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Sorry for anybody that watches later, because that's going to make it really slow. Maybe I'll just have to try and be really entertaining in the meantime while I wait for it to load. Oh, I'm briding everybody. Okay. Oh, I'm speeding pretty badly too. Okay, turn right. One of the mods I have is that it gets rid of the barriers and stuff, so there's that. So I'm gonna put the economy mod on before I pick up the trailer because I don't want it to affect it somehow that way. I'd hate to put on the economy mod and then still end up getting paid the other amount. So we are gonna go right here. Okay, and then I'll put in the parking brake, escape, profiles, yes. Okay, so mod manager. What happened to my real economy mod? Real European gas stations. Okay, let me see if I go back. Sorry, I'm gonna transition. Oh, I never transitioned back. Oh, there we go. You guys didn't see me drive that anyway. It's like I've never streamed before. I'm just out of practice here. So, I was gonna switch it away for a second. Okay. Okay, you. Number 2. Okay. Realistic economy. Okay, let me just find really quickly which one I was using on the realistic economy mod because I've got a couple downloaded here. Let's try that guy. Maybe if I go to my streaming stuff, truck transmissions. Oh, I never did an ETS2 mod list. Dang. Okay. I think it was Class's economy mod that I was using. So we're gonna throw that in there. Okay, Class's economy mod. Class's economy mod ProMods add-on. Class's economy mod. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it was Classes I was doing. And then apparently okay, so let's go ahead and throw him in there as well in case I ever take a ferry. Confirm changes, continue. Okay, let's see how that goes. Now it starts an insanely long load process. So what I was thinking about, I haven't played this in a while. Looks like it's been November since I last did a game on this. So I thought I'd go ahead and hop in and do some more. Again, a whole lot had changed. And the thing that actually got me thinking about it again is the fact that the 1.31 update is about to drop. So I hadn't played since 1.25, I think, or something like that. So I thought I'd go ahead and get in and do some stuff. So there's that. I'm excited for the 1.31. Looks like there's a lot of good stuff coming. I actually prefer ETS2 better than American Truck Simulator. Overall, I like the narrower roads. I like, especially once you throw ProMods in here and Roost Map, there's so much to play, so much map, which American Truck Simulator does not have yet. So there's that. So that's exciting. I was doing American Truck and I was really enjoying that as well. Actually had some family stuff that happened and I got off streaming for a while and haven't really done a whole lot since then. And in fact, I'm going to be taking a vacation here in a couple of weeks, so I won't, we'll see how much I actually stream between now and then and how things go. But wanted to get on and do ETS2 and try things out, play some ProMods. I love supporting ProMods. I do always pay for it when I download rather than using the free download option because I think they do a great job with what they do. So there's that. And then as you can see here on this hand, I actually have a Tech Affliction Mega Shifter. So the Mega Shifter is similar to the SKRS. If anybody has seen that, Squirrel's shown it. There's been a few people who show and have an SKRS, which was a Kickstarter. Seemed like a pretty good product. I actually tried to purchase it, and I got the runaround like so many people have from CSIO. And after a couple of months, I got really frustrated. I started trying to ask for my money back. I didn't have any luck with that. So then I did a Better Business Bureau complaint against them. Nothing came of that. And finally, I ended up calling my bank and telling them, look, this ended up being a fraudulent charge. I never got the product. And they're not allowing me to cancel it. And the bank refunded my money. I was lucky that way. I've heard of some people who have attempted to get the refund and then not gotten it in the end. I did not have that problem, so I took that money plus a $20 difference or something. I think I paid $185, and I had found this one in the meantime. I wish I had done more research to begin with, but on the other hand, it does give me a little bit more experience on the CSIO side, so I can speak to that, which I wouldn't have been able to speak to had I found the Mega Shifter to begin with. Sorry to all of those people who have had similar problems with mine. I feel for you. And some people have had less luck getting refunds than I did. So if you haven't purchased or attempted to purchase an SKRS yet, I would highly recommend the Mega Shifter. I love it. It's great. And in fact, on the Euro Truck 2 subreddit earlier today, there was somebody who was asking about 6-speed transmissions, and I made a comment that in reality, in the Euro Truck, in European trucking, they generally have automatically shifted transmissions. So they actually have a very different shifter than this. This is based off an Eaton Fuller, as you can probably see on the emblem there, or may be able to see on the emblem. But this is an Eaton Fuller style shift knob, and it's out of a real truck, just like the SKRS is. I love it. It's got the range selector and the splitter. And then it also has the Easy Jake option, which the SKRS has now as well. So I can do my engine brake right there. And European shifters actually looks very different. And so if you wanted to be more authentic on the European side, they've got a different layout. It's actually smaller. And you've got, I think it's a lever on one side and a switch on the other or something instead of in front, like on the Eaton Fuller style. And they don't have an Easy Jake option. But in truth, most European trucks these days just have automatically shifted transmissions anyway. And you can choose to manual shift them to an extent. I was watching some videos on stuff earlier on changes both on the Scania line and on the Volvo line, specifically on the Scania, where they have an option that above 50 kilometers an hour, a driver can't even choose to manually shift the automatically shifted, can't choose to bump it up and down gears manually. So if I wanted to be realistic to a modern truck, I probably shouldn't even be using this shifter or manually shifting. I ought to just let it auto shift. But this is a game. And one of the things I like about the game is I like shifting. I've got a clutch down there, and I like the shifting part. So despite the realism actually being higher if I were to let it auto shift, I choose not to do so. So there's that. Anyway, so this is the Mega Shifter. Tech Affliction, who makes this, also has, I don't remember what they've been calling it, and I'm going to have to find a new job anyway. So anyway, they have another one, and I don't remember exactly what they're calling it, but it's basically a simplified, it's got basically these 3 buttons, or 3 of these buttons around it, so that you can do it all on a much smaller format. Anyway, so I guess we're not going to be going to Slovakia because it thought that there was enough of a change that I needed to repark. So where's some place that's going to get me going south? Austria's south, so we could do that. That's interesting that just with a economy mod it wants to change it up. Anyway, Milano. We'll do it right there. We'll do wall panels. 68 cents a mile versus 70 cents a mile. We'll do that. Okay, so we are going to go to Italy after all. Is there one that gets us farther into Italy, just out of curiosity? There is not. Okay, so that is GPS destination. Anyway, so this is my Mega Shifter. And like I said, if I were actually being realistic, I would not be manually shifting. I would be allowing it to auto shift. But part of playing a game is that, you do what you like, and I like shifting. In fact, in my real life, on my automobile, something I miss right now is that I don't have a manual transmission. Oh, I hit that. Is that I don't have a manual transmission. I miss that. So I guess that gives me a bit of a chance to pretend like I have a manual transmission. And do it Rather than buying a new car, I can, you know, spend lots of money on this. So looks like we're gonna take the same route that I just barely took. One of the things I noticed, so there's on YouTube, and I highly recommend him. There's a YouTuber named Stavros, and he actually does a lot of things. He actually does reviews on automobiles in general, but what actually interests me more is that he does reviews on semi-trucks, specifically European style semi-trucks, and it's really fun to actually watch his videos. I think he's reviewed the newer Scanias. He does lots of different reviews, and one of the things that I find interesting as I watch those and other videos is how high the auto shifting transmissions actually let those trucks rev. So unless you're running an eco mode, they often let them rev up beyond 1500 RPM, which I was under the impression, and I shift accordingly, and maybe I shift more like you would in eco mode, that revving that high is kind of a no-no on these big trucks. I know that's what everybody seems to say, at least about American trucks, is, you know, you don't really go above 1500 RPM. And maybe these European trucks are a little bit different that way. But on those auto trannies, they actually often let them shift higher than that. Rev higher than that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And watching him drive them, it's interesting just how high they routinely let them go. So anyway, so I usually try and keep it in the 1000 to 1500 RPM range, but apparently it's not the end of the world if you let them go a little bit above that. One of the mods that I have, which you guys can see here at the bottom of my screen, is there's a simplified UI mod. I don't actually remember who makes it. I will maybe put it in the description after the video. But it takes the stuff that would normally be in that little screen and simplifies it and puts it at the bottom of the screen, only the most important stuff. So that one's kind of a nice mod to have. I've tried both above and below. Above has advantages, like it's actually easier to see, but below it doesn't seem to interfere with things quite as much, so there's that. Actually, last time I was streaming, I had it on the above, but I've had times where I just feel like it's encroaching upon my upper view. One of the things you'll notice with the screen setup I have is that my field of view is actually really wide, and so for anybody watching, despite having the ultra wide, all of my mirrors and stuff are off screen, and actually they're off. I can't show you right now in the middle of driving. Why is it not? I must not have that set correctly. Just a second. It's not recentering my screen. Anyway, they're off the side of the screen, and so interior camera. Okay, let's try that now. There we go. Anyway, they're off to the side of the screen, and so where was I going with that? They're off to the side of the screen. And so I've got a really wide field of view. I actually there's a website that's made for finding the correct field of view for racing game. Maybe it was Project Cars. And one of the things they want to do on that is go as realistic as possible, and with this wide of a setup, I actually can achieve that, and I only seldom can't see everything I need and have to look to the side. At one point, I actually purchased a Tobii eye tracker. I used it for Tomb Raider, is actually what I purchased it for, and then I tried using it in this game, and then I started doing the triple screen setup, and I came to realize that I didn't actually need it anymore. You know, I'm going to leave it because everything's already adjusted. Anyway, I don't need it, and so I don't end up needing to do a eye tracker like many people do when they stream. Now, it could be argued that for those watching the stream, it's not as nice. But for me, it's really nice, and Part of why I drive is for my enjoyment, not so much. I mean, I stream because I like to stream, don't get me wrong, but this is my way of relaxing, so I do accordingly. But because of that, you can't see off the side of the screen, so usually when backing up, and if I don't do it, remind me, usually when backing up, I will then bring the mirrors up so that people can see what's going on because everything's off screen. Okay, I think that's probably pretty good. Let's go ahead and bring up those mirrors I was just talking about. I wonder if I could actually... That might be a way to make the backing up better for anybody watching. Let's see, if I turn my screen just like that and then bring up that guy, then you guys can see both of those. Now, one of the things I don't like about these other little mirrors is that it's actually that the lighting is brighter on it than it is in the rest of it. Now, that having been said, oftentimes I feel like the lighting is not bright enough and I can't see what's going on. But I do have advanced trailer on, which is why I just missed it right there. So let's go ahead and of course it's going to start raining. Okay, so this feels really weird to me because the truck's all off center. I can't do that. Okay, we're going to put that back because my truck's all off center and I can't. I just feel like I'm going crooked. So I've actually gotten really used to having the really wide screens, and I think I would have a really hard time going back. Now, it doesn't mean I'm good at it, but I've gotten used to it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to drop those, and then we're going to put that parking brake on, and we will hop out. We're going to hop out and connect our trailer here. So we've got some glass panels. Man, that got really loud. I'm not sure how loud that is for you, but I'm going to turn it down just a tad. And we will attach the trailer. Okay. Hop back inside. And actually we ought to hop back out real quick. And we ought to then check our lights. We've got lights on that side, got lights on that side. I think we've got brake lights. Okay, we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and get going. Now, this is not an extremely heavy load. In fact, if I look at it, I think it was like 9 tons or something. 11 tons. Okay, so decent. It is fragile though, so I've got to remember that because if I wreck it, I'm gonna be paying. So let's go ahead and get on the road. One of the things I was watching back when I was doing a lot more research into shifting theory and stuff, which I haven't been doing as much of lately, I saw a guy who was talking about the way that he shifts his Volvo, and I tend to shift this way most of the time, and I think whether, you know, I guess it's the way that he actually shifts, and so maybe it's a good way to do it. Maybe not. Maybe he just shifts wrong. But one of the things he does, or the way that he starts out, is he starts out in one low, and then he shifts up to 2 high. So basically he shifts the splitter forward and then goes straight up, and then from 2 high he goes into 4 low. So then he pops the range selector up, and then that was kind of a wide corner, and then he shifts just back up. So you'll probably see me do that. That's generally the way I shift unless I'm pulling a really heavy load with a underpowered truck, which I like to do occasionally. The nice thing about it is that you end up with a I hope I didn't cut that guy off too badly. you end up with a starting up top and shifting, or going 1500 RPM. While you are accelerating, you can slide the slider forward, and then you shift straight down, and then I'm totally speeding. I think this is my exit because I wasn't really watching that. Too busy talking. And then you go straight down into too high, and then once you get into too high and tack out, then you go into flip it up, shift it back, and then just go straight forward again. And then from there, he usually goes from 4 low to 5 low, and then which is just straight back down again, and then from 5 low to 6 low, and then only then does he start splitting gears. So that's usually how I progress. There are times when I'll split 5 low to 5 high before I go the rest. Oh, I actually need to stop. I need to sleep here soon, so I already missed that rest area, so I'm gonna have to find a different rest area. What's my next rest area? This could be quite problematic. We're gonna see if I can make it that far. And the other option is that I could go to Hellborn. But I don't see any stops in Hellborn either. Monheim? Not really. There's a... Okay. Dang, I really should have stopped there if I'd been paying attention. Let's see, Strasbourg. Strasbourg was probably... Yeah, I guess that's going to be my stopping spot right there. Okay. Hopefully I make it there without any problems. Anyway, so that's the way that he, as a professional driver, shifts, and so that's the way that I tend to shift. Now, I already talked about that most European trucks are actually not manually shifted these days. His apparently still is, because he talked about the way he shifts it, but most of them are not, and most of them will, however they shift through the gears, on the automatic. But that's the way I like to shift. So I start out in 1 low, slide the splitter forward, go to 2 high, slide the slitter back and the range selector up, go to 4 low, and then from there it's 5 low, and then 6 low, and then finally 6 high. That seems to work pretty well, and it keeps the truck mostly in the power band. Now there's a little bit right in the lower gears when you go from 1 high to 2 high to 4 low that it drops a little below the power band, into like the 900 RPM range, but it's a small enough difference that it, it's close enough and you're in low enough gears that it usually pulls strongly enough. Now the only time I don't shift that way is if I'm pulling a really heavy load or something, which I'm not. 11 tons isn't horrible. So if I'm pulling a heavy load, I might grab more gears in between there, but I pretty much never go to 3rd, low or high. And I do have crawler gears on this truck as well, so if I've got a really heavy load and I'm trying to get started, okay, come on. I'm trying to get started. Why is that guy merging over? Apparently, because he's not exiting, and that's an exit only lane. Okay, anyway, so that's how I usually do. Now in American Truck Simulator, I actually go very differently, and it's nothing related to that. I watched videos and stuff, and it's actually been long enough since I played that I'm trying to remember how I shift in American Truck. So in American Truck, I think I usually just start in 2nd, and then go to 3rd, and then 4th, and then range selector up to 5th, 6th, 7th, and then somewhere in 7th or so, I usually start splitting. At that point, sometimes in 6th if I'm pulling a hill or something. But it shifts very different. I actually really like the Eaton Fuller shifting, and that's something that I like about the American truck better than the Euro truck, is the Eaton Fuller 13-speed I think is a great transmission setup, and the 18-speed as well if you need the extra lower, but in reality, unless you're pulling really heavy loads, you rarely split those lower gears, so the 18 is kind of a little bit more than you need for most things. So that's kind of where I am, I guess, but I like the Eaton Fuller. The 13 speed is actually, I feel like, a lot better transmission setup than the Volvo 12 speed or the standard European 12 speed, where you've got 3 gears split in the low range and 3 gears split in the high range, because you just don't split the low range that much, and it would be more useful to have the narrower. I think it's more useful to have more options in the high range than it is in the low range. We'll see. How close am I to that now? Because my guy is starting to yawn. I'm totally going to make it. We're okay. I won't make it the whole trip, but I will make it that far. I did not check sleeping patterns and stuff before I took this load. So hopefully I'm going to be okay with going to sleep and not be late. And my economy mod is still not there. Huh. I wonder why that economy mod is not taking effect. Did I not enable it? I think I enabled it. Okay, well, it's not. I'm not going to stop again. Because I don't want to take another 25 minutes loading. Why is the economy mod not working? I swear I enabled it. Maybe there's something else in there that's causing it issues. Let's go ahead and crap, I didn't even check that. I mean, that's the whole reason that I reloaded, was for the economy mod, and then I didn't even check to see whether it was there. Oh, you know what? I'm not nearly as close to that as I thought I was. How far away am I? Is this my exit right up here? I think this is my exit. Oh. Okay. Income 110, driver Ray. See, it's all going to be messed up now because I'm getting income from my drivers based off jobs they got on the economy mod, and I'm going to get paid way too much for this job. Job income 523. No, that's right. Oh, so that's what happened. Is my maybe I have the economy mod on, but I would not have $173,000 because if we look at the bank. I really doubt that's right. Maybe that is right. Okay, maybe it's right. Maybe this is okay. I'm gonna maybe I'll have to go back and watch my video, my last one, and see if that looks right at all, because I feel like it's wrong. But maybe it's right. Okay. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and refuel, because I might as well. Even though I don't need to horribly. Okay. Parking brake. Engine off. Let's get out. And fuel this guy up. I'm getting tired. I should find a place to rest. No kidding. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna grab this really quickly and take a screenshot. You know what? We're gonna do this while I'm thinking about it, because I always forget to do the screenshots. So we're gonna go screenshot, photo mode. Okay. Okay, so I was going to come over here, turn sideways. Or do I want to come over here? Down a little bit farther. This hole. Back up, back up. We'll do that. I like that. Okay. Capture. Okay. Okay, now let's start it back up. Oh, I didn't put my parking brake on. Anyway, oh. So then back, and then up and forward again. Keep going. I'm using my little mirror up top. Okay. Park. Engine off. We'll hop out. Cool. Let's go. Let's get some sleep. Okay. And then we're back. It's morning, which is kind of nice. Or it's getting to be morning. $109 to that driver. Oh, you know what? That's probably why I have any money worth anything. Let's see, company manager. How many drivers do I have? Oh, I've got a bunch of drivers. I must have been doing more of this than I thought I was. Okay. Because that's a lot of money right there. Okay, well that's I mean that's right. Like I said, I'm gonna have to go back and watch my last video and see if that looks right, because I still feel like that's okay. Let's get going. So 1 low, 2 high, 4 low. Okay, now, damn. Oh, he's gonna let me merge. I actually noticed that they've started to let me merge, and I don't know if that was like a change. So it used to be that, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking that it's different. It's not. I totally overread that one. But I was playing on a different one, and it seemed that, like, okay, it used to be that you could never merge. Like, I could never get on. It was either, you know, for whatever reason, people just completely stopped, and I'm supposed to be going 30 kilometers an hour. Why is this? It's got to be wrong. There's no way I'm supposed to be going 30. We'll see if I get a ticket, I guess. Anyway, but they actually seem to be slowing down enough to let me merge on instead of just freaking out. I don't know. It's got to be a bad image. So if you look right down on the screen, it says that the truck speed right now is currently 30 kilometers an hour. And so unless maybe I can clear it out by doing that, I'm not sure why it thinks that it's 30 kilometers an hour. Anyway, I don't know if that's a change, if I'm just remembering wrong, but I seem to remember that merging never worked at all before. It seems to kind of be working. I don't think I have a traffic mod on, because I noticed it on 2 different setups, and I don't have the same mods on both of them, so I don't think that it's anything to do with that. Anyway, whatever the case, I'm able to merge on better than I used to be, and maybe it's that they're responding to my turn signal. I really am not sure what it is. Nope, that bus merged back there. Anyway, so I've got the 3-screen setup, which means that anybody watching, you only see the center screen, right? That's the one that I'm capturing. I can't capture all 3. If I did, it would look weird. So that's not what I'm going for. I actually don't even know if I would be able to. I mean, I'm currently capturing display mode, because to get the 3 screens that are different sizes, I can't use, just a second, let me, I can't use, that's not what I meant to do, standard, like, NVIDIA screen combination stuff. I have to use soft TH, which is kind of, it's a software version to do the same thing, but it's not as good in some ways. It is not nearly as good in some ways. Okay, that's a little bit better. My screens were a little bit off. Anyway, but in order to capture that correctly, I'm using the display. I don't think that the full screen mode works. The normal game capture in OBS, so I have to use the full screen version and then just capture the screen, or capture a display. That's the one. Capture. Oh, no, we're good. I just cut them off a little bit. Anyway, I just have to capture a display rather than capturing the full screen program like you do with a lot of game capture stuff. I think I cut that guy off a little bit. Anyway, and I'm sure I've got a lower speed limit up here. Okay. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing, which, so even if I could, I don't know how I would, but even if I could capture them, it would be so wide and stuff that it would probably be worse off than not capturing them. But that means that you guys can't see my mirrors, which I can obviously see. But I don't like to throw up my fake mirrors because, well, then I don't check my real mirrors, and I going for the immersion a little bit here. So for that reason, I just let you guys see. But, and I think I started to get into this earlier and then I got distracted. One of the things it does do is that the field of view, because it's so stretched out so wide, the field of view is more normal. I actually think it would be what is considered normal. Like the field of view is what it should be. And so that makes it where a normal Euro Truck Simulator or American Truck Simulator, then all of the horizontal stuff is squished together in order to make this everything that you need to see fit on a 16:9 screen or something. And so it's actually squished some in both directions, but it's especially squished in the horizontal direction in order to get, you know, your monitor all the way over to your GPS basically in one go. And so I didn't get that shift anyway. So it ends up that things feel faster. Like as you're driving along, it feels like you're going in a race car game, despite only going 80 kilometers an hour. Now, 80 kilometers an hour for those Americans, that's like 50 miles an hour, right? It's not that fast. I don't think it's necessarily bad that that's what the speeds are, but that's what it is. And yet it feels like you're going like 60 or 70 or 80 miles an hour because everything's just squished together. And then if you played American Truck Simulator, it really feels like a racing game because it's just all squished. And so one of the advantages it gets with having the ultra really wide screens, actually I need to be over here, is that it makes it feel more like it would, because if anybody's driven larger vehicles, now I have not driven a semi, so this is me going off of, you know, what I do know, and that's, well, I've had small cars and I've had large cars like SUVs and trucks and stuff like that. And one of the things you'll notice as you're driving a car, especially if you're used to driving a truck or an SUV, is that things feel faster, and vice versa. If you're used to driving a car, or you often drive a car and then you hop in an SUV, things feel really slow because you're farther from the ground. And as you get up farther and farther, then the road that's going along beneath you is farther away, and so it's not as the movement isn't as immediate to your field of vision, and so it feels slower. And so something you notice as you look at this, if you're used to playing on the larger or on the smaller field of view like you get on a normal setup, is that it actually feels a lot slower than you might be used to. And this is something I had to adjust to when I switched the setup, is I kept crashing. I kept literally rolling my truck because I'd come to corners and I just didn't think I was going very fast, but I was. It was just that the field of view had changed and it felt so much slower. And so that was something that I had to get used to. And now that I'm used to it, the game is actually, and now that I'm playing with that, the game is much more relaxing than it used to be, because I just get to, it's going by more slowly. It feels like I'm going slower now. I still have to, pay attention and whatnot, because I'm driving a big truck that doesn't respond as quickly. But as far as the feeling of speed, it doesn't feel the same. And so I prefer to continue to play that way. That I would have a hard time going back to not having the wide screens. It's one of those first world problems, where it's like, well, I got used to it now, and so then going back. And in fact, for that reason, I've been saving up. So I'm playing with a GTX 1060. So my middle screen is 2560 by 1080, and then my side screens are 1920 by 1080. Now, I actually could be running the middle screen at 3440 by 1440, so basically quad HD resolution, as well as the side screens. And so it would look a lot better, but my GTX 1060 can't push that many pixels. When I was playing with just the middle screen, it did fine. I actually used to play on a 4K monitor, and it did pretty well. Ooh, chocolate. Follow the chocolate truck. Anyway, so that's kind of where I am, and I've been saving up for a better graphics card so that I could push more pixels, which is, it's especially hard because I've got so many extra pixels spread out that I need it. Right now I'm pushing, it looks like 65 frames, although I'm not sure what the meaning is, and anybody that knows this could comment and tell me. But there's, in the lower left-hand corner, there's actually a little, crap, I lost speed, sorry. I slammed on the brakes to not hit that guy, so I didn't cut somebody off, and then I ended up losing speed. Anyway, in the lower left-hand corner, it says 21 frames, and in the upper left-hand corner, which I know where this one comes from, it's saying that it's actually pushing 65 frames. So I'm wondering if the lower left-hand corner is actually the engine and how well the engine is generating frames, as far as for everything else on the screen, for the other cars, for everything else. And the reason I wonder that is because ProMods, love ProMods to death, but it's very CPU intensive. And even though I've got a 4790K, it's often that it doesn't keep up. When I get to more difficult areas, it can't keep up with the demands that ProMods places on it. And so I'm actually wondering if I'm not, in this case, pixel or GPU constrained. I think I'm actually CPU constrained because I'm running ProMods. So if anybody knows what this down in the lower left where it currently says 27 frames per second, if that has to do with, because of everything happening in the engine, how much information it can fill, whereas up in the top is actually my Riva Tuner statistics that says it's currently pushing 80 frames, which is respectable. I don't have any problem with that. But what I'd like to do, and what I've been saving up for, I keep kind of getting into this. Sorry, I just got a message. Just a sec. Okay. And what I'd like to do is actually purchase, if I were purchasing it today, I'd want to purchase a GTX 1080 Ti, but that's not actually what I want to purchase. I'm hoping to wait for the next GTX to drop, 11 or 20 series, whichever that ends up being. I'm actually looking to purchase that and go that route, because I bought the GTX 1060 2 years ago now? Was it that long ago? No, it was it's got to be like a year and a little ago. And at the time, it was by far the best graphics card I'd ever bought. And at the time, I was also looking at just, I actually did do some 4K gaming with it, but it was what was in my budget at the time. And so that's what drove that. Now I've been saving up for a while and my budget has changed, and now I find myself wishing I had bought the GTX 1080, but isn't that how it always is? And so what I'm looking to do is actually down cycle the 1060 to my other computer, the family computer, and then get a 1080, since they don't release or an 1180 or a 2080 when they drop with the next one. And then I should be able to push, like a 1080 Ti is about twice the performance of my 1060, and so I think if I were to have that, I could probably run the Quad HD resolutions okay. And so if I get the next generation, then I think I'd be able to at that point as well do a 28 or an 1180 that I'd be able to bump to the Quad HD resolutions instead of the HD resolutions, because 2560 by 1080 is standard HD ultra wide, and I could then move to a standard or to a Quad HD ultra wide. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to do, but it just keeps being that they haven't released it, and they haven't released it. Maybe one of these days they will release. You know, I kept thinking that maybe it would be this fall or this spring that they would release it, but now it looks like maybe July or maybe October. Frankly, as I've heard people say, well, AMD isn't actually giving them a run for their money, so they don't have a whole lot of motivation to release it. There's nothing pushing them to do it because they still have the strongest performing card on the market. You know, the 1080 Ti or the Titan, if you really have that kind of money. But even the 1080 Ti has no competitor. So what's the drive to then release something better? The other one is it would be nice to actually change from my 4790K to, I would love to have an 8700K, although in reality, for gaming purposes and even for streaming purposes, I don't need 6 cores. But I'm actually really excited to have 6 cores where each individual core outperforms my 4790K, but then go to 6 cores. I realized I could do an i5 8600K, I think is what it is, and get the same per stream performance or per that type of thing. But I actually use, and you can argue with me on the quality of it, but I actually use the NVIDIA capture. I don't use Xvideo or X264. I just use the NVIDIA NVENC, and I'm pumping like 13 kilobits right now or something, so 13,000 bits per second, and the quality seems fine. I'll check it afterwards, but I seem to have, I've tried to do X264 based encoding, and I always end up dropping frames somewhere, whether it's because the game engine can't keep feeding it or because it can't keep up or whatever the case is. I've never been happy with my results on X264 encoding. So since I'm using the NVIDIA GPU encoder, I don't actually need lots of cores because I'm not doing CPU encoding. So in reality, the i7 is not a necessity for what I do. But I would love to move to the 8th gen, where they've upped the performance significantly over my 4790 now, or 4790K. Now, that having been said, my 4790K has held its own for a long time. I've actually only had it for 2 years now. It's actually a work machine, and we had it, nobody was using it, and I found it in the server room. I was like, hey, can I just use this as my workstation? So this is my workstation and my gaming station. So that made the price a lot cheaper, and the 4790K was a no-brainer since I just got it. But anyway, rambling on all kinds of stuff. I love these mountains. So if we look here, we just dropped into Austria. Nope, that was right. Okay. Are we in Italy now? We are in Italy. So the Italian Alps here, they've done a great job with the Italian DLC, although I do believe that this is all normal stuff. And I have a hard time because I don't think I've ever actually played down here, or I pretty much always play down here with ProMods as well. So I don't actually know what parts of this are ProMods and what parts of this are the stock game. So I could be giving credit to SCS when it's actually the ProMods team, or vice versa. I don't know. Sorry, I think I hit the mic back there on my sudden shift, but so I don't actually know who to give credit for what part, but it's beautiful, whatever the case. They've done, whoever did this has done a great job with the Italian Alps. And I haven't made it all the way down in Italy yet. I hear, it's all beautiful. I've explored parts of Italy, but I haven't explored all of Italy. But what I've seen, they've done a bang-up job. And from what I understand, what I haven't seen, they've also done a bang-up job. So I'm excited to get out there and explore that. Let's see. Oh, come on. I'm totally cutting someone off, by the way. I totally cut him off. I am driving much more recklessly than I generally do. But, oh well, we haven't crashed yet. Which is good, because we have glass on board, so we've got a telepass coming up, or a toll area coming up. Technically, I think I'm supposed to come over here, because this is where all the trucks are coming. Too bad, I usually use the telepass, and maybe technically I could have used the telepass as well. But anyway, we'll do this one. Gives me a chance to shift anyway, I guess. Since that's part of the reason I play, so. Okay. Okay. 6 low. Okay, I am not exiting here. I really see, and this is where I should split 5 high before I go to 6 low, but after listening to the guy who really drives Volvos in real life, and he's like, I don't split till 6 gear, it makes me wonder. And so I'm trying to do it, how someone who really does it would do, and so that's what I'm basing it off of. But I feel like that's kind of a wide split from the 5 low to the 6 low, and it would be better off split. But pretty much everybody I've, heard talk about it or whatever, like, I only split in the top gear. And that's unless they're doing a hill. If they're climbing a hill and they just want to drop half a gear, that's one thing. But pretty much everybody just splits in the high gear. And so despite feeling like, I'd get a better acceleration out of splitting before that, if that's what real truckers do, that's kind of what wrong button. That's what I want to do, so anyway. So, I guess I'll keep doing it the way I'm doing it. I like the Volvo trucks, I really do. I've driven the new Scania. After the revamp, the newer, and they're nice trucks, but I still have this. I like the Volvo truck. I actually really like the way the dash is laid out. I like the overall feel of the truck. One of the problems I have with the Scania is it requires too much vertical space. So I already said I've got it really wide, but I don't have a lot of height on my monitors, and so when I get into the Scania, I actually struggle getting everything I need in the screen, like seeing my tachometer and everything. Now if I were driving an automatic, that would be less of an issue, but seeing my tachometer and my cruise settings and all of that, they tend to want to not all get in frame. And so anyway, I am running Jazzy Cat mods, which is probably where these trucks are coming from with their logos and stuff. I also have the AI. Yeah. See, I'm sorry. I think I just dropped some frames pretty badly right there. No. And again, I think it's probably ProMods' fault because it's so CPU intensive, but I have a hard time not. It's such a good mod that I just, despite the frame rate problem, I have a hard time not doing it. It's just so good. And that's where I find myself wanting to do a little better on my single-threaded performance, or wishing they would multi-thread the game. But getting my single-thread performance up there so that I can play ProMods without dropping the frames. I mean that what I think is the engine frame rate in the bottom left-hand corner is less than 20 frames right now, although my GPU is still up in the 60 frame area. Okay, so I'm going to use the telepass lane. Whether I'm supposed to use the telepass lane or not, I'm going to use the telepass lane. Oh, I hadn't caught the gear. It was grinding gears. Hey, look at that. Okay. Okay, let's get back over. And get... No, there's a car there. It's okay, it's going to merge this way anyway. Okay. Getting back up to speed. I am glad I don't have to deal with toll roads all over in my life. I'll tell you that. They would be a pain. Okay, oh, here's my exit right up here, so I'm going to actually start kicking it down. Okay. That's another thing. So European trucks generally have auto changing transmissions. They also all the newer trucks seem to have auto engaging retarders, auto engaging engine brakes, the whole deal. There is an option in the game to do that. I don't choose to do that as well. But if I were going for immersion, for realism, then I could definitely change on or turn on the auto retarder. What do you call it tonight? Auto retarder, as well as the auto engine brake, but I do not. So, so I'm watching the red light over here off screen. Crap. Whoa, that was about overshot. Okay, let's go ahead and merge over. Oh, except I'm going to be making a left turn up here, so I'm not going to merge over. Green light. Got going a bit fast on that left turn back there. Okay. That was the other thing that I actually really started paying attention to, is it's like, okay, on engine brakes and stuff, they tend to downshift a lot sooner, so the engine brake is kicking in at more like 2,000 RPM instead of 1,500 RPM. My assumption is that it actually works better. I'm totally cutting you off. Ah! I probably just damaged my load. I think I just damaged my load, by the way. Because I have not been driving as nicely this time around. Okay, no, that is where I'm supposed to go. Why did it think that I missed my turn? My GPS totally thought I missed my turn there. Hold on. Okay. Well, I am not impressed with my driving tonight, I'll tell you that. It has been the first time that I've streamed in a while, and so I may just need to get back in the habit of talking and driving. But I am all over the place. So please don't judge my driving by how I performed tonight, because I'm not impressed with how I performed tonight. Hopefully I'll do better next time. Okay. So where do I... Is that... Okay, just a second. I gotta... I'm totally missing my turn here. Okay. Like I said, I'm not impressed with my driving tonight. Oh, that was a gate that was closed to begin with, huh? Let's see if I can make it in here. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this trailer in here very easily. Or at all. Okay. Parking brake. Let's see where they want it. I can do that. Let's make this happen. And I maybe can do this. Oh. See if I can get around this corner. Okay. Only caught it a little bit. Okay, so okay, we are gonna actually... What's our best way here? I think we're gonna have to blind it in. I think that's the only way I'm gonna get it in there. This is actually gonna be a really hard... A lot harder delivery than I thought it was gonna be when it said right there. And I am going to cheat on this, which also makes it where we aren't going to have to use those mirrors, those fake mirrors. I'm just going to do this route. I don't often park with exterior mode. I don't say generally. You know what? That's not going to work. I've got to get farther over there. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, I have a 700 horsepower. Not a 460? Oh. Well, apparently I should be doing heavier loads, huh? We'll see if I can even do this guy. Not so great so far. I'll tell you that much. I do not hold up much hope for this. trying to see if I drive all the way up here if I can get this. Otherwise, I might have to, like, back around. Let's see. It's not going to make it. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this one. We will see. Okay. So, if I crank you hard this way. I don't think I'm any better off than I... Okay, that's not any better than I was a minute ago. We're going to do this again. So I'm going to get this down here where I can bring it tighter in. Okay. So okay, we are gonna do this. Go straight back for a bit. Crank it around the other. Crank around some more. Okay, now I've got to straighten out just a bit. Those are some bright headlights. I can see them through the middle container. Okay, let's try that. Okay. Stop. Oh. Dang it, I'm not going to make this in here. I thought I was going to, but I'm not. Come on. Okay, so now, if I go Cargo is ready for unloading, huh? You will accept that, will you? I don't know if I will accept that. Now that I'm finally close. Okay. And I thought I wouldn't make it in. I definitely wouldn't have made it if I didn't cheat. Okay. Something like that. Okay, good enough for me. It's good enough for them, it's good enough for me, I guess. Okay. There we go. 380. Cool. I guess I've been playing longer than I thought on this game. Okay, well, I think I'm going to call that a stream. Thanks for anybody that joined or comes in later. Thank you much. You can always watch the stream back. Again, I was not impressed with my driving tonight. Hopefully, I get back in the groove and stuff. But thank you much and have a good evening.